Okay, so this is where the oven is in the main sailor lab. It's just against the back wall by the window. If you open it up, you can find some clean cells that you can use for your measurement. So we'll go ahead and grab one, and then we'll head over to the BUT and run our measurement. All right, so here's the balance, and this is like a little stand for holding the cell. So if you want to get the weight of the empty cell, of course, just initially, you're going to want to tare it. And then for putting our cell inside, so it's kind of a funny maneuver, but we're going to thread it through here. And then we'll set it down, kind of close the lid as much as you can. And then now you take the weight of your empty cell. And then for loading your sample, we've got like a funnel for you, so you can just stick this on top, and then you can go ahead and just like load in a little bit of sample, however much you're hoping to add. And then when you're done, just make sure that all of it goes through to the bottom. We want to make sure there's no sample towards the top because that can mess up the measurement, so just make sure it all goes to the bottom. And then we can go ahead and degas it. Alright, so now we're going to show you how to attach your cell. So this is going to be station 1 and this is station 2. And then just know these two are sort of connected, so if you're going to use one of these, just make sure that the other one is sealed tight, otherwise you may get a leak. So just know that like this piece is going to drop down, so as you're unscrewing this, kind of be holding this whole piece. So we'll start to unscrew. Alright, so these are our different pieces. So at the very top we have our O-ring, it's kind of purpley, and then we have this piece that is just like a placeholder, so because we're using a cell we're going to put this off to the side. And then over here in this red bucket we also have just a bunch of different parts and things. So this has two pieces, there's like this piece and this piece. So we'll go ahead and stick our cell. So we'll thread him sort of through. We'll leave just a bit of space, and then we're going to stick that O-ring right on top. So we've got the two pieces, the O-ring, and then this is our cell. So now we're going to screw it in. And when we're doing this, we're going to want to make sure it's lined up really nice and straight. Make sure you're not applying any pressure to the side, otherwise you may break it, and these are quite expensive. And so we'll stick him up here just until you meet resistance, and then holding this very carefully, we're going to go ahead and start to screw it. And then once it's just about finger tight, now we're going to use this key over here, and then we're going to put it in one of these holes, and then while holding it kind of still, just kind of gently tap with your finger, and we're just going to very gently tighten. If we tighten too much, it'll undo like the threading, so we just want to make sure it's like not too tight, just enough, and then that should be good to go. We're going to be degassing, so we're also going to use one of these heating mantles. So we're going to very carefully just kind of open him up, make sure he's nice and open, and then we're going to just lift him straight up, and then we're going to just gently kind of close the top, very carefully. And then these cute little hooks, they come down, so we'll hook him here, and then everything will stay in place. Now you're ready to go to the computer, and we'll show you how to degas. We're going to open up the software, and it's called Asiquin. So after opening the software, you will be prompted to input your name. And then the system will need to be connected to the software. So to do this, click on the Not Connected notice in the top left, and click Connect. And then in the bottom left corner, you'll see the log sheet start to auto-populate. To set up the outgas / degassing settings, go to IQ defaults in the toolbar, and we're going to select outgasser. The program for whatever station you'll be using will need to be updated. First, add or edit a step to change the desired soak time under vacuum and the desired temperature. The cell can be backfilled or held under vacuum after the program finishes. Ensure the proper evacuation mode is selected, fine powder, powder, or pellet, to prevent elutriation into the degassing manifolds. Non-elutriating plugs are available if this is a concern. And now to start the degas, we're going to go into Station Outgas Profile and Load. A window will appear allowing for the empty mass cell weight. And then you're also going to put the mass of the loaded sample. Then we're going to go ahead and click the green check mark to allow the system to start degassing. And we're going to hold that for at least 1 minute once under vacuum, just to confirm that there's no leaks or heating errors. Alright, so now that our sample is done degassing, which again should take, typically is done overnight or for like 8 hours, so don't expect people to do this in 1 day. But once it's done degassing, we're going to take this apart and then we're going to set it up over here. So to take it apart, just first unhook this, and then we're going to just open this up, and then we're going to just gently push this down and set this down. And then we'll just do the same process of just, keeping it nice and straight and then unscrewing. All right, and then we'll pull it straight out. So we're going to then put the pieces back really quick. So to do that, we'll put the filler piece back in. We'll kind of have that ready to go. And then we're going to set this O-ring on top. So it should look kind of like this. And then we'll stick him back in here and screw him back on. Okay. And now we can open up this and just make a note of which one we're using. So this is the one for Chemisorption, and these 3 in the back here are for Physisorption. This is 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to use 3 just so you can see it. So the first part, we're going to want to just carefully unscrew it. Okay, so similar setup. And then we're going to just carefully push this up and then screw this in. Alright, so it looks like it's good to go. So now that this is on, this is our liquid nitrogen doer. We're going to make sure this is full. So if it's pretty much full and topped off, it's good for about 3 days. So if you're running a longer measurement, you'll need to fill it up. So just always make sure that this is full. And then once you finish degassing it, we're going to go ahead and take the measurement because we need the mass of the cell plus the dry sample. And once you're done with that, then we can go ahead and load it. So now I'll show you how to run the analysis. So if you go under IQ default and analysis, just double check that Physisorption is the analysis type, and go to edit the parameters. So first we'll click in the bottom left corner the number of stations that we're using. So we're using station 3. Next, adjust the evacuation mode to match the sample type. So we're doing pellets for our sample. And then we're going to click on each station. So we'll go to 3. Under admin, we're going to change the sample name. But we're just going to leave it as standard. Under analysis, change the cell type being used. And if you had a filler rod, you can specify that here for with or without a rod. Under points, reset to the points or load a previously saved method. Right-clicking on the points table will show options for measurements. If you're only measuring surface area, then a 3 to 11 point BUT measurement can be selected. If measuring points, add the number of adsorption and desorption points needed. Standard is typically 40. If you're measuring micropores, make sure to add adsorption, desorption points, and also select the micropore points option, which allows you to select the decade and spacing needed. And then data tags should be selected based on the measurement type being done. So whatever tags you want to add. From there, we're going to adjust the settings for any remaining stations if needed. We didn't have any, so we'll skip past that. And then now we're going to go ahead and start the analysis after we save the parameters. So a new window prompt will appear, allowing the degassing profiles to be imported into the station. So once you have your ID selected, we're going to go ahead and put in the weight of the sample and cell that was outgassed. It was about like 15.05 or so. Oh. It was about 14.4, so and it's normal for it to have lost weight, so don't worry about that. And so from there, we're going to go ahead and hit start, and there will be several leak checks that take about an hour. We recommend sticking around until at least once the elevator rises the dewar up, just to make sure there's no errors. Otherwise, you'll come back in 3 days and there will not have been any data being taken. Alright, so after your measurement finishes, you can go ahead and save the data by right-clicking and selecting a report, table, or grid. So each view can be saved as a PDF or TXT file. So you can either save as TXT or hit the print icon and print to PDF. And then if you right-click, you can also adjust the data reduction parameters. And this can correct for the DFT model used for report calculation, or make any data tag adjustments. And once you're done with this, you're pretty much all set to go. You can save all the graphs you'd like. And yeah, and now we'll show you how to clean the cell and wrap up the cell prep. Alright, so now we're going to take down our setup. So we're going to open this up, and then we're going to unscrew this piece. Alright, so once you're done doing your measurements, you can take off your sample, and then when you have the cell, just make sure to dump out your sample that's remaining or collected or whatever you want. You can rinse this out with solvent or whatever you need. If it's really, really stuck at the bottom, you can gently sonicate, but just be really careful not to break it. And then with the clean empty cell, you can put it back in the oven in the main lab, and then we're good to go.